Okay. Good evening, guys and girls. It is Tom Panos, and it is the Sunday night rant that has now moved to Monday nights, which allows me to have sort of a Sunday afternoon and night not to think about anything but relax. And today I'm pretty pumped and excited because I, I am going to wait for this audience to build up. I have got with me a very special person, Amit Nayak, who is one of the real estate people that works for the McGrath Group in the Parramatta area. I'm pretty proud of this guy. I have to say to you, for every person that is watching this right now, I want to let you know that this guy here was a kitchen hand, came to Australia in 2007. You know what life's like as a kitchen hand, and he moved up to the second highest role in hospitality in terms of restaurants, which is just below a chef. But guess what? That was then. This is now. This guy here is one of the hottest real estate people in Australia and New Zealand. I'm letting you know as our audience builds up, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, that are watching right now. I've got to let you know, Amit, it's so good to have you on tonight, and welcome.
Thank you, Tom. This was very kind and great introduction. Thank you. Pretty humble to be here.
Yeah. So Amit, one of my favorite agents, because I love all winners in life, but I particularly like winners who didn't start off with much behind them. Like they had to actually look. I know the stories of a lot of people that come from another country. They come on over here, and the first 2 years, they've just got to make the best with what they can, right? They go off and they study English, and they got to do the various paperwork and exams. Tanay Jain is a big fan of yours as well, a fellow Indian originally, but he now, of course, he's in Australia, and he's a Punjabi. But you're from the same place as Gandhi. What was the name of the place you're called from? You were born?
Yes, Tom. It's called Gujarat,
and that is where
the current Prime Minister is from.
The current Prime Minister. You must be it's good. Must be terribly proud. So we got a Prime Minister from there, and we got one of the hottest real estate agents.
Yeah, I don't know anything about politics. Yeah, I know a bit about real estate, but nothing about politics. But yeah, it's good. It's quite famous. Obviously, much better than the previous ones we had. So yeah.
So everyone that's watching this, straight away, I want you to start getting hope and inspiration. Just picture this guy has come to another country in 2007, and it's 2022, and the guy's writing $3 million in GCI. That's $3 million in GCI, my friends. That is a significant effort. And in fact, Tanay Jain is putting a comment there. Very well known and hardworking businessman, belongs to Gujarat. Well said, Tanay. Now listen, all I want to say to you is well done in your 7 years of real estate.
That's exactly right, Tom.
7 years. So tell me, you started off in property management, but correct?
Yeah, that was around September 2014, which was outside the area where I was living. So obviously that was a bit far from me. And also the demographic of that market was quite different too. So did that under 6 months, Tom.
Okay, and then you went into sales as a standalone agent?
Straight away, the standalone agent. That's exactly right. So pretty much when I started, had to be absolutely just reach out to all the agents within the office. And one thing what I learned starting this, even as a kitchen hand, I used to always outwork everybody and used to just say, hey, look, I can do your job. So pretty much that's exactly what I did. Used to do letterbox for everyone, used to do the open houses, bar callbacks and all that. But yeah, started as a standalone agent.
So very early on, you just made yourself available as an assistant to help everyone, make their life easier.
100%. Make them lazier as well.
Yes,
I could actually learn more.
Now listen, how long was it before you put on your own assistant?
That was in my 4th year, Tom. So that was in 2020 or
In
just
2020,
beginning of 2020. Yes.
2020, you put
Yes.
on your assistant. So
Yes.
about what, 3 years later?
3.5 years later. I should have done it way earlier because I was lucky enough to obviously become the very, very first thing that I did, Tom, was I joined the real estate gym members. Not just saying because you're there and the audience is there. Obviously, that was the very first thing that I did because I wasn't actually learning a lot from where I was because everyone was busy. So yeah, I started learning a lot from real estate gym, and then a lot of videos. There are particularly my favorite ones that I watched it again and again, and
Well,
and learned a lot from there.
now you are the video as of today. You
So
you
Connor,
you are you're going to
thank you.
give hope and inspiration to a lot of other agents. Like you were watching other people, they're going to be watching you, and they're going to say it's possible. Because one of the things, Amit, about life is you've got to get deep belief that it's possible. Because if you believe it can happen, you act and behave with a different energy level, right?
Totally agree.
And you yesterday completed a half marathon, which
That's correct,
again
Tom.
requires belief. I've seen you run that bay run. You run it in electrifying speed. What's the fastest time you've done on the bay run?
Just below 30 minutes, Tom.
How old are you?
I'm 33 at the moment.
Yeah, he's 33 and I'm 55, and I do it in 40 minutes.
You are much more faster. I'll be happy to do in 40 minutes. By the time I'll be your age, Tom.
Well, I hope by the time I'm 60, I can still do it, you know?
Yes.
But listen, I was going to ask you, your team now, you've got a team now. Describe your team. I mean, I know your team, but just for the people in the webinar.
Yeah, so there are 5 of us, including myself. I've got my brother Ritesh, who is pretty much also list and mainly look after the bar management. I've got Danny Lee. So Danny, he does the lead gen. He's the lead gen within the team. I put on the other person in the team, Mehdi, just literally 3 weeks ago. He looks after all the buyers for the strata properties, and I've got client service manager Taser. So I've got myself and 4 others within the team.
Okay. And the way you work with your team, you meet up with them every morning?
Pretty much every morning, 5 to 10 minutes catch up. Yes.
Face to face?
Yes, that's exactly right, Tom. So
Okay.
on one day or 2 days a week, I drop my little one to the school. So yeah, during that time, after dropping, I'll be just on the Zoom.
How old are your little ones?
So I've got one, she's 6 years. I've got 2 beautiful girls, just like you.
Yeah.
First one, 6 years, and second one is 6 months.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. May God bless them. They be healthy and have a great life with you, and to you and your lovely wife. I want to bring up this subject now. You work the Parramatta area. Now,
That's correct.
For everyone that's watching this that is not in Sydney, Parramatta is not an upmarket, high socioeconomic area that's got expensive properties. And in fact, I'm going to ask you, Amit, what is your average price that you sell?
780, Tom.
So 780,000 in Sydney is considered at the lower end of the market. But what is really interesting is that Amit uses the auction system for 90% of his stock to turn over. Like, how many sales does that work out a year? So I think it's 205, isn't it?
Yes, that's correct. So I had 206 sales last year, last financial year, Tom.
206 sales. And what you're doing is using the auction system as a process method in an area that has not traditionally embraced auctions, and in the kind of property, because most of the properties that you're selling are in fact units, 2-bedroom units, I would say. Is that right?
That's exactly right. So yeah, units, villas, townhouses. So units, Tom, they pretty much average price around 580, 570, 580. Then villas around 640, 650, and townhouses looking around 720 mark. So I would say 60% are strata properties.
60% are strata properties. Okay. And would you say that the biggest percentage of buyers are first home buyers?
I would say so, yes. 80% of them.
80%. And with auctions, because it's an unconditional deal, what are the challenges, or do you overcome any challenges with buyers, first home buyers, and buying at auction?
First of all, Tom, them obviously not knowing how that method works, where they've got to start, and then obviously in terms of the deposit part, what they need to do, due diligence part, do they have to really get the contract reviewed or order the strata report? So what we really do is, Tom, that each and every of our strata properties, either it's strata or non-strata properties, we really have the either it's the building and pest inspection or the strata report ready. Also, in terms of the having to have the solicitors, we also have a mortgage broker who would come with us at each and every open homes. Surprisingly, around 20% of those buyers literally go ahead with our mortgage brokers because they may not even have the finance ready, and that happens a lot, Tom. So yeah, yes, we really want to make sure that they feel comfortable buying the property through that method. And at the end of the day, there is only those 3 to 4 things that they've got to prepare, either it's auction or non-auction property, Tom.
Okay, so what you're saying is you make it easy for the buyer to buy by having a pest and building, having a strata inspection, having a mortgage broker available there. So what you're doing is you're basically helping the buyer to have no challenges to actually be able to do a deal there. Now, Amit, I want to ask you, when you're at a listing presentation talking to a vendor, are most vendors happy to go to auction, or do you have to convince them?
I would say 60 to 70% of those owners really don't feel comfortable to go ahead with that method. However, yes, when we do add enough value and show them the reasons why, I believe that's the strongest method for them to get the best price in the shortest possible time. Obviously, every vendor or most of your vendors certainly will listen to you, and obviously will, as long as obviously they trust in what you are saying, then obviously they're going to believe the process and the value that you would add on the table there as well.
Okay. And when you're going to a listing presentation, Amit, do you normally find that you do it in 1 meeting or 2 meetings?
Generally, they are in 2 meetings, Tom.
Okay, 2 meetings. So you go in, you meet them, and then you come back with a recommendation.
That's exactly right. I mean, if I would know, obviously, when I meet with them, the question be, Tom, are you 100% selling?
Right.
If the answer be yes, then I would just obviously the email that I would have sent to the vendor, I really ask them if they have gone through that email and read through the agenda that I've sent through. If so, then I like to actually go through each and every details with them. If not, then I just lock in a time for the second meeting.
Okay, beautiful. And Amit, once you've listed the property, you launch it. Give me an idea. Are you running a 3-week campaign and the 4th day is the auction, or is it 3 week and the 3rd week is when you've got an auction scheduled?
Yeah. So we generally go with the 4th week auction, Tom. But depending on the interest that we would have, we generally even bring a few auctions even forward as well. And some we would literally even have the 2nd week would be the auction. With those ones, we run the open homes Saturday, and then we would have another open home Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then that 2nd Saturday will be the auction. But generally would be 4-week campaign, Tom. A lot of our stock as well, what we do is we would even have them listed with a private treaty, and then we convert them to auction as well in the 2nd week of the campaign.
Okay. Do you talk about this at the listing presentation that you might do it, or you mention it to them after you've listed it?
So pretty much at the listing appointment. So like there was one of the vendors that I met with today, considering the certain age group that, of my vendors, a lot of them are quite hesitant to go with that method. So I've just literally secured the business saying that, guys, there are 3 things would happen from the very first open house to start with. We're not going to have any price on that. Now, after that inspection, 3 things would happen. Either we would have the offer in line with what we are expecting. If that happens, the property will go under contract with a cooling off period. If not, then we will have the feedback to work with from the market. We'll put a price range, or third thing, we could even convert to auction. And majority of those properties we end up converting to auctions, Tom.
Okay. Now, Amit, as an auction vendor of your effective business unit, I want to ask you, they get a vendor report?
Every Tuesday, Tom.
Every Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay. And tell me what your communication strategy is with a client that lists with you. So you're doing multiple opens. You actually said to me earlier on today that if you've got a private inspection on a property, on realestate.com, you create an open for inspection because you're going to be there anyway. So explain how that works.
That's exactly right, Tom. So some of the properties that we even run the open homes, like 3 to 4 open houses a week. So obviously we have a scheduled Saturday open house and one during the weekdays, either Wednesday or a Thursday scheduled open home. But if we do have a buyer who really want to inspect on Monday, Tuesday, obviously that there has to be the qualified buyer. So either they want to inspect on a Monday, Tuesday, Friday, we generally put 15 minutes open houses there, Tom. Okay. And that is something that I even show with the vendors when they are saying, hey, look how many open homes they're going to do. I'll just open the phone and actually show them that, guys, we would even do the open home whenever it requires. Obviously to schedule and then private appointments. So they may even see, oh, wow, it's been only 2 weeks on the market and you have done like 8 open houses.
Okay, absolutely gold. So they're getting a vendor report, you said, on Tuesday?
Every Tuesday, Tom, yes.
Okay. After inspections, tell me what your communication is after you've done an open for inspection with the vendors on, like, for instance, on Saturdays.
Absolutely. So obviously every vendor will receive a text message on Saturday, as well as a message on WhatsApp group. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be telling them that, Tom, you will receive a call from me straight away, because we run around 20 open homes and sometimes 3 to 4 or 5 auctions as well, Tom. So I tell them that one of our team members will send a message on WhatsApp, and then I also give them a video call on Saturday evenings around 6:30, 7 p.m., 8 o'clock when I'm in the office, and giving them a video call and would say, Tom, I've just rang the 4 top buyers for your property who took the copy of the contract today, and this is what their feedback is in terms of the price, in terms of the presentation. Okay. And I generally go through with them on Saturday itself, and the rest of the buyers, Tom, I'll be calling them on Monday, and then I'll put together a written report with their detailed feedback, which you will receive on Tuesday.
And do you have vendor meetings?
I do on Zoom, Tom, every single Tuesday. So that's generally scheduled in my calendar through the Calendly that my CSM, the EA, she would be sending them a link every Friday for the vendors to choose a time. And then I meet with my vendors every Tuesday between 12 and 6 p.m.
Okay. By the way, everyone, I've got to say to you, and this is not me promoting any product, Calendly is a great tech tool that allows you to have clients click their own appointments. It saves your PA a lot of time. Clients love it because they've got times that they can choose from. It goes and sits in your diary. A Zoom link is organized automatically because it integrates with Calendly, and you will find it is an incredible time management tool. So essentially what you're saying to me, Amit, is you're just doing these 15-minute Zoom meetings with people every 15 minutes, eyeball to eyeball. It's nearly as good as face-to-face. It's probably face-to-face is better, but you got to drive there, sit down, and that all takes time. You get straight into it. I have to tell you, one of the great things about Zoom, my friends, is the ability for you to actually save time with a lot of the things that we were doing previously that were face-to-face. And I think vendor meetings are definitely one of those things. Vendor meetings are definitely one of those things.
Now, the only reason, Tom, I will meet with them face-to-face is when there is something really concerning in the campaign. So if I will be telling them, Tom, I got to see you tonight, they would know that that's going to be something concerning, and then we're going to be talking something serious about that campaign.
Yeah. How do you, and can I ask you, at the moment, like versus last year, there's more serious talks than last year. Last year,
Okay.
things were a lot easier, right? Buyers
Yes.
always paid the prices. Is it difficult having challenging conversations with vendors, Amit, or have you got used to them?
Oh, never ever had any challenges, Tom.
Right.
Of course, I do every single day. Yeah, yes, we do get punches everywhere, right? But I think in terms of having to have those conversations, Tom, just following mentors like yourself, John McGrath. I mean, how many times we have learned that get those difficult conversation out of the way first thing in
Yeah.
the morning, and that's exactly what we do. First thing in the morning, get those conversations done. So I would be just having a cold shower in the morning. Yes, that's just that first challenge that you got to overcome. Get it done, and then the other challenges looks pretty small throughout the day. And the vendor management or the vendor meetings are exactly the same, Tom.
Yeah. Well, I've got to tell you, we're getting some great feedback from people about your conversation here, Amit. You're inspiring a lot of people. I want to talk to you. You know, when you're talking to someone that's as a for sale, and then you shift them to an auction. What do you actually say to you? What do you say to people? You know, we need to change directions, or how do you approach it?
Yeah, so mainly I would have the data with me, Tom, that based on this, their properties, any similar listings which are on the market, how many days they have been sitting on the market, and what I strongly believe the reason is there as well. So obviously, we want to create that urgency for that property. We really want to put a deadline. Though obviously by having all those things, building, pest and strata report and everything ready as well. Obviously, we just really want to put that deadline and then have the time frame and create that competition. Now, the scenario of when we have 3 to 4, 5 buyers interested in the property within the similar price mark, those would be the cases where we would actually be converting those to auctions. For an example, however, though we still like to put a price guide on them, Tom, because rather than me putting a price range of 5 to 550, then still be keeping the fingers crossed that the buyer will get their finance, right? Or they won't change their mind, particularly when news come these days, and then obviously the buyer start panicking, or the next door neighbor who's the real estate expert would say, hey, look, Tom, why are you buying in this market? You shouldn't be buying, you should wait. And so there are so much negativity out there that the buyers would actually be pulling out of the contract. So instead of putting that range of 5 to 550, we'll be telling the vendors, let's actually set the date with the auction guide of 500. And then guess what, Mr. Vendor, Mrs. Vendor, your property is going to be on the market for sale every single day. So if you have your auction 3 weeks down the track, if I meet with the right buyer tomorrow and you're happy with the price, guess what, we'll be selling. The good part B, will be selling with a certificate 66W. That means the buyer would have to buy without any cooling off period.
Oh, absolutely gold. Absolutely gold. I just want to ask you, when the properties do run to auction, when do you normally set the reserve?
So generally that week, that final week, Wednesday or Thursday, Tom.
Right. Okay. So if it's a Saturday auction, mostly your auctions Saturday on-site auctions, is it?
That's exactly right, Tom.
Okay.
I've done only one Sunday auctions, but yeah,
Right.
that's Saturday
Okay.
auctions.
And may I ask you, like Saturdays must be if you're doing 206 sales a year, you're doing a lot of open for inspections. I believe you do your callbacks on a Saturday afternoon.
Spot on.
So what time,
Yes,
can I ask you, what time do you finish on a Saturday?
on an average, Tom, between 9 and 10.
Guys and girls, did you hear that? On a Saturday night, he's worked 6 days. And then on Saturday, what he does is he does the little extras. He makes the callbacks on that Saturday, right? And he sits back. And the reason why is, gang, don't forget, when you make callbacks on a Monday, there's another 10 agents doing callbacks on a Monday. They're getting calls from all different agents. So one thing that, is happening here with Amit, firstly, he stands out. Secondly, he can intercept any decisions that are made that people talk about on Sundays because he spoke to them on a Saturday. And listen, Do you work long hours? I mean, you work Monday to Friday. I mean, give me a typical idea of what your workload looks like.
Tom, so pretty much start my day pretty early in the morning. I'm a morning person, as obviously heard from you. Then one of the mentor that I also follow, Robin Sharma. So like to wake up 5 o'clock.
Yeah, he wrote a book called The 5 a.m. Club.
The 5 a.m. Club, yes.
He's also an Indian guy, right?
Yes, that's correct. Canadian Indian, yes.
Canadian Indian. So you wake up early, and what happens next?
Like to exercise. I like to move my body. Not much about, okay, you got to do this or do that. Anything that we love, just as far as we move the body, and then empty the rubbish bin here as well, which helps me a lot every morning. So start absolutely fresh. So exercise every morning, and then obviously love to have coffee straight after, and then I'm in the office. Have the shower at the gym, dress up at the gym, and I'm straight in the office. And this has been my routine for the past 7 years since I've been in real estate, Tom. Now I've just moved very, very recently close to the office. So after the gym workout, going home, but otherwise normally get dressed up at the gym and straight in the office every day.
Okay. And what time typically you finish your days?
On an average, Tom, would be again around 8:30, 9:30.
Okay. Can I ask you, family life, how do you try and fit it all in?
So Thursday mornings, Tom, I just wake up a bit late, have my sleep in, play with my little one, my 6-year-old, drop her to school on Thursdays. Though now I started 2 days a week on Tuesdays as well. And then obviously one of the days I would finish a little bit earlier if I don't have afternoon appointments. Either it would be even Thursday again, or even Friday. And then Sundays I don't work, Tom.
My final question, what are 5 non-negotiable things you do in your life and business?
Absolutely. So, I mean, with the life personally, Tom, I like to exercise every day. Then obviously would catch up with my team. I don't know. I think I would say that's a bit more like work side of it. Also like to train myself, not just at the gym, but also either watching the real estate gym videos, or even listening to podcast while I'm driving, sitting down, watching videos, making notes as well. So that's something I like to do 30 minutes to 60 minutes on a daily basis as well. Sharpen my mind. Also daily learnings, which is there. And then at least have 30 to 40 minutes with my girls on a daily basis as well. Since I had my second one and moving closer to the work, and I actually end up spending a bit more time, which is great. Now also drinking 3 to 5 liters of water and eating healthy food as well. So which thanks to my missus that, she would create just beautiful meals and pack the esky, which I just carry like the tradies in my car. And then with my 3 to 4 meals ready to go every day.
All right. Guys
and then from the business point of view, Tom, pretty much daily team meeting, which is 5 to 10 minutes every single day. And then vendor meetings, and that's every single Tuesday. Vendor updates pretty much every single day. Either it's on a WhatsApp, either it's text message, email, or it's a phone call, or it's just a video call. So that's on a daily basis. What am I listing, selling, and then leveraging every single day? These are the 3 things that I would prepare the list as well. And obviously which property would need the adjustment. So this list that I prepare every single day, Tom. Also daily accountability messages, which are sent to Con since I started. Con Stathapolis, as you know very well, the principle of business. So been sending messages since my day one that what I've listed, how many market appraisals that I've done, how many call connects, price adjustment, vendor meetings, every single day without fail. Been sending him a text message. If I don't, he'll be sending me a message at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night that Amit, how was your day? Not that he asked me, but this is something in everyone's life. I would say the best thing that you could do, reach out to your colleague, your friend, or someone who knows about real estate within your group that just tell them, hey, look, keep me accountable. Just send me messages. Very much like every morning, Tom, I like to share something on Instagram or Facebook story, me being in the gym. If I don't go one day, I may even have my past vendors, friends, family members be sending a message, mate, haven't seen this story. Are you okay?
Love it. Love it. Listen, I feel guilty. There's a guy who's 15 years of age here, and he's asked the question 2 times through Facebook and through YouTube. The question is, I love your stuff. What advice would you give yourself if you were 15 years of age? If you were 15 years of age, what advice would you give yourself?
Right, look after your parents, and listen to their advice, and then stick to your family like anything. Don't sort of hang around with dickheads. Obviously, that's that age, Tom, that you would just get in touch with all the worst thing that you could do in your life. But to be honest with you, I don't even remember when I was 15 years of age, mate. Very, very conservative, not talking to any strangers, and very shy. So I mean, I would say be much more open-minded and speak with a lot of strangers.
All righty. Amit, we're not going to keep you anymore. We know that you're up at the 5 a.m. club, and the 5 a.m. club is also linked to the 10 p.m. club. You need to get,
Exactly
what
right.
time do you go to bed? 10?
10:30, 11, Tom.
10:30, 11. Okay.
Yes.
And as Brad Pierce says here, great agent, if you don't want to slip, don't hang around slippery spots.
Spot on.
Right? Very,
Yes.
very important. Mate, you're an absolute legend. Our young 15-year-old has said thank you for answering
Yes,
that question. All righty. Guys and girls, one of our real estate gym members for quite a few years that has got a $3 million business and is not in the prestige areas. That's the thing I want to highlight here. He doesn't have the luxury of $30,000 or $40,000 commissions on his deals. In fact, I would probably say they're more like 15 grand, 12 grand.
That's exactly right.
12, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, people are loving it. Taney's loving it. Everyone's loving it. And why? Because good guys do come first. Good guys do come first. So, Amir, I just want to thank you so much again for your time. Guys and girls, this has been the Monday Night Rant, where we've met one of our real estate gym members, and more importantly, he's been able to share how he's been using an auction strategy in a non-auction market, and particularly in an area that doesn't use auctions and property types, which are units, where a lot of people say units will never work with auctions. And in a marketplace where the media is saying that the clearance rate is dropping, but he's using auctions because it's got a deadline, it's got a process, and it works. Guys and girls, signing off. Thank you, Amit.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.